Hey there crafter, and welcome to this week's Crochet Friday video. So this is a technique that makes working in the round in crochet so much nicer, because what I find when I work in the round in crochet is, especially when I'm increasing or decreasing with things like amigurumi and different things like that, I end up with a lot of gaps. And that's just part of the nature of crochet, that you do end up with gaps between stitches or at the base of stitches, but I notice it particularly when I'm doing increases with single crochet. So that's meaning when I'm working multiple single crochet into the same spot. So I recently came across this idea that is a way to do single crochet, but it's a little tighter and you don't have that gap effect as much, and I think it's super awesome. And the good news is, if you already know how to single crochet, this will be super duper easy. So before I show you how to do the cross single crochet, let me show you how it looks and the impact it has. So these are two little circles that I did using some red heart yarn, and I used a size F 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. So fairly tight for the yarn, but if we look at it with the light behind it, we can see a lot of holes. We see holes like here and here and here, and those gaps are caused by me doing an increase of single crochet, which basically means I did 2 single crochet stitches into the same spot. And that creates all these holes. And of course, when we're doing things like amigurumi, we don't want there to be holes and gaps because we're going to stuff it. This is just normal single crochet. Then if we look at this one, this is the crossed single crochet. And as you can see, there is a lot less light coming through. You know, there's a little bit, but even the spots where it's coming through, it's not as large of a gap. So again, for comparison, normal single crochet, cross single crochet. And just so you know, I used the same tension. I didn't, do this one tighter on purpose and this one looser to create more gaps. This is really what this technique does. On the tightness note, I will say that my stitches just do end up tighter naturally with the crossed single crochet, so that is part of what helps there be less gaps, and it's also just the technique that I'm going to show. But I did the same number of stitches, and the cross single crochet is a little bit smaller than the normal single crochet. One other look at it so you can see what the stitch itself looks like. So this is my normal single crochet worked in the round. So this right here, we have those 2 posts of a stitch. The 2 posts of a stitch. We can keep going around seeing all those single crochet stitches. And then here is the cross single crochet. So this right here, this kind of crisscross looking X kind of shape there, that's 1 single crochet. And this is done with the cross single crochet effect. So as you can see, it does create a crisscrossed look. There's not actually a crisscross happening, because this piece up top here on the right and this piece down there on the bottom left, those are actually 2 separate strands of yarn, but it creates the illusion that the stitches are a big X over top of each other. And if we look again, these stitches with the crossed single crochet are tighter than the ones with the normal single crochet. So now that I've whet your appetite with showing you the differences and the advantages of the crossed single crochet, let me show you how to crochet this. And as a separate note, this is mainly used in the round. You technically could do this working, back and forth in rows, but it will create a different look because the front is where you see the crisscross effect, but the back does not have the crisscross effect. So I'm going to get a little circle started, and then I'm going to show you how to do the stitch on the wider rows, just so it'll be a little bigger and easier to see. So here I'm just working this circle, and what I need to do for this next round is I need to do 2 single crochet in a spot and then 3 single crochet along evenly and increase 3 single crochet all the way around. And I'm going to do this showing you the crossed single crochet technique. So I'm going to start by chaining 1, just like we normally would to start our round. And just like a normal single crochet, I'm going to insert my hook through where I'm working it. I'm going to work 2 in this spot. Now normally to do a single crochet, I would yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. But there's a slight change that we're going to do that's going to make all the difference. I'm going to insert my hook, but instead of yarning over and pulling the yarn through, I'm going to bring the yarn from the underside. So you can either think of it going like this and then pulling through, or you can just think of it where you catch it with your hook turned down and pull it through like that. It's the same process, but we're going to pull up a loop like that and then yarn over and pull through 2 to finish the stitch. Let me show you that again. Insert your hook. Either bring the yarn from under across the front into the back like that, or just catch it with your hook facing that way. It's the same exact process. And pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So I worked 2 in that spot because I needed to do an increase. But now I'll show you working it evenly. Same thing that we just did. We're going to insert our hook, bring the yarn from the underside over, pull up a loop, yarn over like normal, pull through 2. Insert our hook, grab the yarn from underneath, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2. One more time, insert the hook, bring the yarn from under it to front to back, pull up a loop, yarn over like normal, and pull through 2. And if we look at those stitches we just did, we've got that little crossed section, that crisscross look going on. And that's all there is to the crossed single crochet stitch. So I hope this technique helps you with your projects. Again, it's super awesome for things like amigurumi because then you don't see the holes as much. I would just mention, do be aware of your gauge because I find that doing the crossed single crochet, even with the same tension and everything, my stitches end up smaller, and that's because of how we're grabbing the yarn. We're not creating as much space when we grab the yarn because we're keeping everything pulled fairly snug just because of how we loop the yarn. So keep that in mind that your projects might turn out a little bit smaller with the crossed single crochet versus a normal single crochet. But don't forget to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the bell if you want to know when I post new content, and then make sure you come back on Tuesday for my Tutorial Tuesday and on next Friday, because I think I have another Crochet Friday happening then. Thanks for watching and happy crafting!